it's Betsy, and today we have a fun video. We're going to be testing out the new Anastasia Beverly Hills Norvina Pro Pigment Palette Volume 5. If you can hear that going on outside, I am so sorry, but they're cutting some concrete and I have no control over. I used this the other day in a live and I'm excited to play with it again. So this is what she looks like on the inside. So it's like a big version of the Norvina palette that came out a couple of years ago. So it has a lot of purples, some neutrals, and I really enjoyed it the other day. So we're gonna do another look and kind of tell you my thoughts on this palette. So we're gonna swatch it and let me know in the comments down below if I've used a palette in a live and I do a full review. Do you want swatches or not? So the first shade is A1, which is a true matte white. Then we have A2, which is a pink to champagne metallic. Oh yeah, see how pretty that is. A3, which is a lavender shimmer. A4, which is like a pinky toned nude. A5, more of that mauve toned nude. B1, this is a white with a gold in it. B2 is a warm light purple, so that one kind of leans on the pinky side. Then we have B3, which is a cooler toned matte purple. B4, this is a neutral, but this one has, this almost reminds me of the Trinket lip gloss from Sugar Pill. So if you look, I'm not sure if it's gonna focus, probably not, but there are like glitter sparkles in this. Have to kind of back away, but it is pretty. Then we have B5, which is more of that purpley bronzy shimmer. Then we have C1. So that is like a blue blurple kind of shade. C2, I love this color. This is a lavender slash silver shimmer. C3 is a warmer toned medium purple. So there's almost the first 3 rows. So we're gonna go to the other hand. I make no guarantees. I am terrible about swatching on my other hand. So then we have the shade C4. That's really pretty. So that's like that deeper gold to pink shift. C5, which is more of like that purpley eggplant kind of matte shade. Then we have the shade D1, which is a copper shimmer. And it almost leans more red. The only pressed glitter in this palette is D2. And that's what it looks like. And it's like a rose gold with holographic glitter in it. They're gonna drive me insane. Then we have D3, which is a deep, that is a beautiful color. See that it's like the deep purple shimmer, but it's got a lot of sparkle in it. D4 is a warm tone, medium tone purple. Then we have D5, which is pretty close to D4, but it's just a little bit darker. These really make it where you can build on. Yes, there are a lot of similar colors in these, but they perform well. Then we have E1, which is like a icy pink to white shift. E2 is a rosy pink nude. Trying to think of the way to describe these colors and not drive myself insane because I get that sound is getting to me. Then we have the shade E3, that's really pretty, which is like a medium purple shimmer. We're almost finished. E4, which is a warm tone nude. And last but certainly not least is the shade E5, which is, that has more of a purpley undertone than even C5. Now they are super close together, but this is all of the shades. So there are 25 shades in this palette. It retails for $60. So I know that's kind of expensive, but they are good quality, and it's a 12-month shelf life. They're vegan and cruelty free. So that should tell you some stuff, hopefully. But yeah, no, I enjoy the Pro Pigment palettes. It was kind of annoying that they released so many of them at once, but I do own all of them. So I own all the big ones, and I own all 3 of the minis. So if that tells you something, I do really enjoy the formula. So let's wipe off the swatches. Now I do have my eyes primed with the NARS smudge proof, budge proof eyeshadow base. Now when I worked with this in the Saturday Live, I did use all of, well, not all of them, but I used a lot of the purple shades. So for this one, I'm gonna do more of a neutral look. And the reason why I'm, well, one, I want to test out some of those shadows. 2, I'm doing a neutral look because I have a meeting at Cameron's old school. Well, I'm going in front of the school board over the problems that we had with virtual through his school. So I have to, you know, pull off more wearable, I guess is the way to go. So this is a ColourPop E15. Now that blue that's on there is stained, just to let you know. I'm going to go into the shade A4, which is the lightest mauve toned neutral in the palette. And we're gonna use that all in our crease and just blend that out. But yeah, I mean, like, so I have to go in front of the school board. And with that being said, I'm going to be a neutral Nelly today. Not that there's anything wrong with being neutral. I don't mind neutrals. I love all colors, whether they be neutrals or brights or more grungy tones. I want to play with every color under the sun. So it doesn't bother me. But, and then I go through phases where it's like, oh, I want to do neutrals all the time. And then I go through phases where it's like, no, I want color. And right now I'm kind of in the phase where I want more neutral than I do color. So hopefully that tells you something. So as you can see, that color blends out like a dream. Let me go ahead and do a little bit more. There we go. Making sure it goes all the way down to the eye tapes. I always use the eye tapes. It just makes things so much easier. Okay, I like how that looks. So, next up, we're gonna go into, I'm gonna grab a smaller brush, and this is the Spectrum B06. And we're gonna go into the shade right here, which is A5, which is just a little bit more, it's a deeper nude. And we're gonna keep that in the crease, but we're gonna keep that towards the outside of the eye. And just in case y'all are wondering, hopefully I'll be through with this sign at some point in my lifetime, but there's not really a time or a way to get around filming when they're working, because they seem to always work on it. And they even have been working on it on Saturdays and stuff like that. And they don't work on it when it rains, but whenever it's, typically when it's storming outside, I don't film anyway, because that's harder to control everything with, especially because sometimes the power here likes to be finicky. I mean, we have battery backups for everything, it's just, it's an old building. Okay, so that's what we're looking at right now. I am gonna kind of bring that shade, like all the blending, down into the inner corner. Not that I really need to, but see how pretty that looks? Okay, so we like you. We like how that looks. We like you. Okay, so now I'm gonna go into the shade E5, which was that deepest purpley toned matte right down here in the corner. I don't mind, like I love a good named palette, but if you don't want to name a palette, I would much rather like the A, B, C, D, E, the alphabet and numeric type, kind of like when you play bingo that they do for this, versus like whenever like Natasha Denona did the glam palette and was like crease, inner corner, that kind of thing. That just kind of throws me off. Just give me numbers. Don't try to tell me where to put it, if that makes sense. Okie dokie. Let's blend that out. See how pretty that is? And I can't help but go at least a little bit smoky. I don't know how y'all are, but I always prefer a little bit more grunge and depth. And I'm just going back over it with that Spectrum brush that I used with the shade A5. I mean, and you can see, because I'm doing this all live, that it blends beautifully. But yeah, I have to go meet in front of the school board. We had some issues with Cameron's school, which is the same one my other two have graduated from and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I just want to make it known we're not even sending him to the same school next year because I was so unhappy with how things went. But, you know, the school board and stuff needs to know what happened, and then they'll have their choice to figure out what to do. This is the NYX Glitter Glue. I love glitter glue. I use it with all my shimmers, just in case you're wondering. I talk about this every time I film. I always use glitter glue. It works the best for me. So just to kind of let you know, you don't have to. I have better luck with how shimmers perform with using glitter glue, but again, that is kind of neither here nor there. It's like whatever you like to do. So I'm going into the shade B5, which is that deepest brownie shimmer, and I'm going to apply that on the outer V. There we go. And I'm keeping it not really in the crease, but like that's where I'm stopping it. And on the back half of the eye. Okay, I'm gonna take my smaller brush. This is the E42. I don't even think I told you what that brush was that I was using with E6. This is the E42 by Sigma. And I'm just blending out the edges to make sure everything's smooth before I move on to another color. Okay, so I'm gonna take that brush, wipe it off, because I don't want that color there no more. And I think I'm gonna go into the shade C4, which is like that rosy slash coppery kind of undertone shimmer. That's really pretty. So. Okay, there we go. What do you think of that so far? I think it looks really pretty. I really like it. And this is just a traditional Betsy look. Like I always, even when I'm going more neutral, I do tend to do something a little bit more extravagant on the eyes. I can't help it. It's not in my DNA to not be a little extra. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, so I'm gonna take this as the Spectrum B05 and we're going to go over all the edges to make sure everything's blended. Okay, I'm liking how that looks. So actually one more thing I am gonna do, just to add a little bit extra, I'm going to take my brush and I'm gonna pick up some of that pressed glitter, which is the shade D2. And I'm not packing on a whole lot. I'm just taking very little to kind of see how that gives it just a little bit more sparkle. And we're giving it a little bit more sparkle, because why not? There we go. Do it on both eyes. Now, pressed glitters typically aren't eye safe. I have no idea if Anastasia's are, because they do make some glitters that are eye safe. Trixie Cosmetics has some. I don't know if this is that formula though. Okay, so this is what it looks like. Top of the eyes done. So I'm gonna go off camera, do the rest of my face. We'll come back and do the lower lash line and talk about my thoughts on the palette. So I'm back and I have the rest of my face on. I used the Patrick Ta She's Sculpted Bronzer. I used the Patrick Ta She's So LA Blush, and then I used the Anastasia Amorisi highlighter. Still a gorgeous freaking highlighter. It doesn't get any better than that. I used Dune from Kaleidos, and then in my waterline, I used the Raw Beauty Christie times ColourPop Woodsy. So let's go ahead and do the under eye. I'm excited for this because I think that I really like this neutral look. I really like how it came out. And I will try to remember to link a picture up here to show you the purple look that I did. Because as I said, I did a purple look as well. That was just an Alive. Which I think is fine. It's just, you know, I know that y'all want to see all that I do, I guess. But it wore really well. It lasted. I mean, but I haven't had any issues with Anastasia's brand, at least not for the most part in performance, other than when they did Subculture, which I love the color story of that palette, but I ended up giving it to Nadia because it was a little bit more difficult for me to work with, and it wasn't a formula that I enjoyed working with. I want things to be easy for me, if that makes sense. Okay, so now I'm going to take, and we're gonna use this shade right here, gotta hold it up where you can see it, the shade right here, B1, which is that white gold shade, in my inner corner. We're gonna see how that pops. Oh, that's pretty. Which I guess that's pretty similar to the new highlighter that was supposed to be the same formula as the Amorisi one, or Amorisi one. I didn't go for that one because it definitely wasn't my cup of tea. And I have a lot of highlighters like that, but I think that's what that would be. Okay, so here's the finished look. What do you think? I think it's really pretty. I love the quality of these. And as I said, I've already done a purple look with this, and I just think that these are phenomenal. I think that they perform well, they're beautiful. Now I would kind of wait for a sale to get these because they are expensive, but if you can save 20% off of this, like if you wait for the Sephora sale, and sometimes they even will have these 50% off, I would go for it then, because if you got it for 20% off, which would make it like $48, it's definitely worth it. But if you got it for $30, yes, I would say yes, 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 all day long. Do you need it if you got purple eyeshadow? No. Do you need it if you have brown eyeshadow? No, but I am happy that I have it in my collection. So if you like this video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button right down below. And if you hit the notification bell icon next to it, that will notify you when I post new videos, which is typically a Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and Saturday at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time we do a live. But when there's more product, which there's a lot of things coming up, we will have more videos. But I guess that's it, so we'll see y'all later. Bye.